Alright folks, today we're talking about how you balance a small camera like this on your gimbal. Yes, this is a question I still get a lot, and people are confused why the gimbal aren't working as it should when they try to balance a camera that are too small to get balanced on a gimbal. But there's a way to do it, so let me show you how you balance this camera on this gimbal. Here we go. Alright, before we start, there's a couple of things I want to mention, and that is if you're shooting on a point and shoot camera, you will be better off with a smaller gimbal like the Zhiyun Crane M2. And the other thing is that this video is a video that will be included in the Gimbal Academy as well. So if you're interested in that, see the video, and then when we come back, I will talk a bit more about the Academy. In this video, I will show you how to balance a small camera on a mid-size gimbal and what settings you have to adjust to make it work. I will not go into depth of how you balance a gimbal correctly, so if you struggle with that, you can go back and watch one of my videos on how to balance a gimbal properly. First off, a camera can't be too light to balance on a gimbal, and today I will show you how I balance this RX100 on this Weebill S. But the principles that I show will be the same no matter what gimbal you use. So to balance a small camera like the RX100 on a mid-size gimbal, you have to add some weight to it to make it work. And this can be done in many ways. But today we'll use what I got and what I've found in my drawers. But the easiest way to add some weight to a camera is to add a cage. Just like this one. And I know that not all cameras can have a cage, but if it can, just add this and you might be good. So what is too light? Any camera setup under half a kilo will be too light to get balanced on the Weebill S. So that is the minimum that we're aiming for. We got the RX100 right here, and I know that this one weighs 280 grams. So that is not enough for me to balance it on the Weebill S. So therefore I found some things in my drawers, and this is what I got. A lot of goodies that we can add to the gimbal or to the camera setup, so we'll get over that 500 grams mark. Let's take a look at it. So the first thing we have is of course the camera, and let me show you what happens if you just put it on the gimbal right here. I've tried to balance it as good as I can. It looks good, but if we point this up, you see it tilts forward, and that means we cannot adjust this one anymore because we had to push this one further up. So it will tilt back and we do not have perfect balance. But some of the problems that some run into is that once they put a light camera on this gimbal or any gimbal, it vibrates. And that is because the motor settings or the settings on the gimbal is wrong. Now the motor settings are too high and the gimbal are vibrating, and you think, hey, what am I gonna do? It doesn't work. Yes, adjust your settings, auto-tune it, 6-side calibrate it, and you will be good. So that is some of the things you can do, but let's take it off and get a perfect balance on this one. So the first thing I got is this switching plate right here, and it is nice because it got some weight to it, but it also got a lot of mounting points so that we can add stuff to it. Then I have this quick release plate, which is nice so that we can easily take the camera on and off. So that is the first thing we'll add to the to the plate. So I want this one here. Then I found a screw that fits into this one. So, and as you can see, I mounted a bit to the side, and that is because I want my lens right on top of the actual mounting plate. So now I got the lens nearly centered, and that is what I want. And then I have some space down here in the back where I can add some weight. But let's add the this plate to the base plate of the gimbal. So I want this pointing this way, so let's just put it like that. So there we go. Now we have the base plate set with the switching plate and the quick release plate. But we want some more weight to it because I know this is not enough. Then I have these connectors or what you call it, I don't know. And I have a hole right here where I can add the lens support, and we'll add this one right here because it gives me some weight into the front of the plate. But we also want some weight in the back, so we'll just add this one. So now it's beginning to have some weight to it. And then we can add the camera. And if I need more weight, I found this bolt and this connector right here. And then I have some options to add a little bit more weight, and I can add some weight to it back here, or I could also add some weight to it down here if I need to get more weight in front of it. And of course I can also switch the camera front and back. Another good thing that you can also buy online is that you can add these counterweights. You can get them in 200 grams, 100 grams, and that's an easy way to add some weight to your camera setup. I will link them down in the description if you want to get some of those. But let's try to put this one on the gimbal. So there we go. Now you can see, because I balanced it before, it actually works pretty well. I can get a really good balance on all axes with this one, and I still have room to maneuver this one to the side because I've added some weight to it. There we go. But we are still fully extended up on the tilt axis, so I can't take any of this weight off, then it wouldn't work. But again, if I needed, I could add this bolt back here or down under here if I needed it. But I didn't need it in this one. It works perfectly. So that is how we do it. You add weight to your system and then it will work. But let's take a look at the settings when you power it up. Alright, so now I just turned the gimbal around so you can see the settings. So the first thing you'll have to do, you'll go into motor and then you set auto tune and see if that works for you when the gimbal has auto tuned it. We'll take a look at the settings if they are low enough. So there we go. And just to see what we got, motor, then we go into custom. See, we got 16, 32 and 37, and that is actually the default settings for this gimbal. So it didn't really change that much, but how do we find out if the settings is low enough? Is that you go into the settings and you start increasing the motor settings until you feel the motor vibrating. See, there we got vibrations. Turn it down. About 20. Maybe you can go on 20 on this one. Let me just try. So what you will have to do, you'll have to work with it, put it in some of the outer positions to make sure that the settings are low enough. But I would just stick with the auto-calibrated settings that were 16 because I know that they are good enough. And there you can see now we got a gimbal that's working perfectly with a super small setup. Alright, that is how you balance a small camera setup on the Weebill S. And as I said, if you struggle with the balancing process, go back and watch one of my videos of how to balance a gimbal properly. Alright, that is how you balance a small camera on a mid-size gimbal. If you are left with any questions, you can always drop a comment down below. See you in the next one. So as you can see, this video is a video that is made for the Gimbal Academy, but I want to show it here because I get this question a lot. And another question I get a lot is, when is the Academy done? And I'm still working on it. It's a lot of work. It's 60, 70 videos actually now, and I won't give it off before it's fully done, because what if something happens to me and I can't continue making the video, or something else happens in my life and then I have a half-done course, and I do not want that when I have paying customers. So therefore I want to make the Gimbal Academy as finished as I can before I start putting it out to you guys. And with that said, if you're interested in the Academy, then go down in the description, find the link and sign up for the waitlist so you will get notified when we launch the Academy. And it will be out in the middle of March, so if you're on the waitlist, you will get an email when we open the doors. That is it, guys. I don't have any more for you. And of course, if this is the first time you're here, remember to subscribe if you want to learn more about filmmaking with motion. That is it. Stay creative and stay safe. And if you can, go out and shoot some dope videos. See you next time. Bye.